Let's look at final exam question number 2 in Geometry Demystified, 2nd edition. Please refer to page 340. We are given 5 statements about quadrilaterals, and we want to know which one of them is true. So let's just go through each and every one of them and find out. If we can find a counterexample, we know that the statement is not true, so it's not the answer. A says all trapezoids are squares. Well, here's a trapezoid. That's most definitely not a square. These two sides are parallel, but these two sides obviously are not. A square has 4 90-degree angles inside of it. These are obviously not 90 degrees. None of them are, so we can rule out choice A. Let's look at choice B. All trapezoids are rectangles. Well, once again, here's another trapezoid. It's obviously not a rectangle, because a rectangle, like a square, has 4 90-degree angles. Well, 2 of them here are, but these 2 aren't. So we can rule out choice B. Let's take a look at choice C. All rhombuses are squares. Well, here's a rhombus. All 4 sides are the same length. That makes it a lot like a square, but there's a problem. A square not only has 4 sides that are equally long, but all 4 angles inside of it have to be the same, and they all have to be 90 degrees. This figure obviously does not fill that bill, so choice C is wrong. Now we're left with only D and E. Well, let's look at the false one first. All rectangles are rhombuses. Here's a rectangle. Opposite pairs of sides are parallel. Opposite pairs of sides have equal length. Each and every interior angle is 90 degrees. That's what makes a rectangle. But is that a rhombus? Most definitely not. Because a rhombus has to have 4 equal sides. It doesn't necessarily have to have 4 90-degree angles inside of it, but all 4 sides of a rhombus have to be the same length, so we can rule out choice E. Well, by now you must have concluded that choice D has to be right, because it's the only one left. But let's look at that statement. All squares are rectangles. Here's a square. All 4 sides have the same length, which we can denote by putting little hash marks on them like that. One hash mark indicates a certain length, so each and every side has the same length. All 4 angles are 90 degrees, which we can indicate by little half squares like that, little L's if you like, oriented in various ways. That is what makes a square. It doesn't matter how small or big it is, it's always got to have 4 equal sides and 4 equal angles. Well, this thing, this generic thing, no matter how big or small, is always a rectangle. Because remember, the criterion for a rectangle is that opposite sides have to have equal length, opposite pairs of sides. Well, they do in this case. And all 4 angles have to be 90 degrees, which they are. So again, choice D is the statement that is true. All the other 4 are not necessarily true. They are not totally true. Choice D again is the one you want.